So Norma Foley turned up today and she came out with this. Now, as we know in primary schools at the moment, they're saying you're not allowed to bring a phone into school, which is reasonable enough. I do think, even when I was in secondary school and primary school, I didn't bring my phone to school. I wanted time off my phone, etc., etc., because we're too busy on our phones nowadays. I do agree with that, but what Norma Foley's more focused on now is children can't, the teenagers can't bring their phones into secondary school. Now, I did, as I said, I didn't when I was in secondary school too. I didn't bring it in because I just chose not to. You could have brought it in and used it at break time. There was nobody really stopping you, to be totally honest. But I didn't. I was just happy just to chill and not use the phone for a while. I'm just kind of was happy enough doing that. But long story short, there is other problems. The normal 40 is just pushing to one side. Like, say, for example, the school transport. Because normal 40 is over the school buses, etc., etc. As you know at the moment, one particular incident in Cavan, there's 20 children that were on the bus for all the school time, and this is nearly their last year now doing the leaving sort, and now they can't get the school bus ticket to get on a bus to go to school, and they're going to be out maybe €2,000 on private buses to get them to school. And normal Foley's nowhere to be found. Nowhere to be found. I haven't heard one hate from that. And not to mention there's other ones around the country. It's not an isolated incident. Across the country, the same incidents. We have bus drivers retiring. And again, all this has not been addressed. Normal Foley's just buried our head into the sand. And not even to mention bullying in school. I could go on. Do you want me to go on? I generally could go on for a few hours. The lack of resources for special needs kids, like there's some special needs kids in Cavan, they should have resource classes, extra help, all the time basically. They're lucky to get it maybe once a week, and every 1 hour a week, and these children have huge learning disabilities, etc., etc. And they get it for maybe an hour a week, and that's about it. There's no SNAs to look after them, and that's a huge fail of the state. And you think she'd be more worried about that than she would be about people bringing their phones in, to be totally honest, because there's more issues in the education system. And not even that, all the young teachers that are leaving to go to Australia, etc., etc. And again, we're just ignoring that and just focusing on something trivial, like kids bringing phones in the school. And now I understand. There's still the young people, teenagers, where you think they're going to listen to Norma Foley and that, the Norma Foley of all people. Like, why would any teenager listen to Norma Foley of all people? Especially when I was at secondary school, because we got fucked over something by Norma Foley. But long story short, she disappeared or someone. She's toned up now with this kind of thing. Even though, again, not awarded the school bus transports. If we counted them all up around the country, there's probably maybe 10,000 children that are facing this issue at the moment across the whole country. In isolated places, etc. So either the bus driver retired, because see, there's another problem. When the bus driver retires, there's nobody to take on, there's no extra bus driver for school transport. And when the school bus goes off the road, because it's only 20 years the school buses can drive for, they're not going to replace it. So it goes to a private company, and then you have to pay up front. And again, number 40, nowhere to be found to address this, to try and work it out. Just buries our head into the sand. And again, as I say, but young teachers leaving in droves to leave. And then SNAs, no help for special needs kids, do it for loan. Again, as I say, they should be getting it all the time, some children. And they're only getting it once a week now, and for an hour a week at most. It's a huge failure. And especially that we're more worried about people bringing in their phones to school. To be totally honest, I think that's a bit down the list. I think we should be more focused on getting children into the school, and not having parents to pay thousands and thousands of euro to get them to school, or either that, or to go the parents to have to go out of the way to bring their children to school, etc., etc. Because it is a free bus ticket for bus airing buses, for CIE buses, and Norma Foley brought it in. But again, she never thought about, do we have enough infrastructure? Do we have enough bus drivers? Do we have this? Do we have that? Just brought it in on a whiff and didn't do any organisation, didn't think about it, didn't look at the bigger picture. And that's what happened last year. They didn't look at the bigger picture and turned into the big clusterfuck. And I don't know how she kept her job of it, because it was just the biggest clusterfuck imaginable. Because again, so many bus drivers retired because they came to retirement age, and there was nobody to take them. There was nobody to replace them. Then when the buses went off the road, there was no money to replace them. So it was just a big clusterfuck, and it went on for a long, long time. It's still going on. I imagine you think they would have organised themselves a bit better, but no, they haven't. And Norma Foley's more worried about a phone being brought into school. And again, again, as I say, when I was in secondary school, I didn't bring it in, because only when the last few months I did bring it in, because of the leaving sort, etc., etc. and we had projects, we had to record stuff on our phone, take pictures, etc. That was the only time I ever brought it in. Unless it was going on maybe a tour, we were going on tours down the country or whatever, I brought it with me just for that. But teenagers won't listen anyway. That's the next thing. They won't listen. And again, the teachers have enough to be doing without running around, I suppose, with children, especially teenagers being very rebellious, etc., etc. It'd just be a lot of hassle for nothing, basically, to be putting it straight to you. It's very tone deaf, to be truly honest. Because when you look at the other issues, the big giant, the elephant in the room, quite literally the elephant in the room, and she addresses the small elephant in the room instead of addressing the three big elephants in the room. And that is, the lack of children can't even get excuse my language, but even get to the fucking schools, let alone, bring phones into school. They can't get themselves to school. So that's the big issue. And then the next issue coming down the tracks is all the young teachers leaving to go in their droves, to go to Australia, to go to other countries where they get better treated, etc., etc. And then the other big issue is with special needs, and that's only touching the surface. I could go on about, extra resources needed here, this needed there, other things needed this side. I'd be here all day if I went on with it. But they're the three biggest issues at the moment in the education system in this country. And the phones are the problem, basically. Nothing else. We're not going to deal with anything else. Fuck that. Basically we're just going to focus on the phones. When you look at it that way, you're like, what's wrong with this woman? Really, honestly, to put it straight to you, should you not be worried about getting the children to school first, and then maybe worry about the phones? Because as I say, it could be 10,000 across the whole country that's facing this issue. Because again, I faced it when I was at secondary school at that time with the school bus. It's the exact same as these 30 kids in Carvin, take for example. And nothing was done about it. I ended up having to fork out 1,000 or so, 1,500 or so on taxis to get to secondary school and back for about 3 months. So, and again, no such thing as, we compensate you and that. No such thing. Even though it's supposed to be free public education, but what do you expect, I suppose, in this country? Anyway, thank you.